Hi there, everybody, and welcome to what's probably going to be the last episode of Special Brew in 2021. My name is Notusugo Mhlungu, and I'll be your host for this episode. Now, my special guests today are none other than Simon Colman. He is the business head in financial lines as well as the digital distributions team, as well as Alicia Narainsamy, the underwriting head in digital distributions. Now, before we get into conversation with Simon and Alicia, you may be aware that the digital team under Simon and Alicia's leadership was nominated for and went on to win the very prestigious Santam CEO award. We are extremely proud of the team and continue to celebrate their victory. Simon and Alicia, a warm welcome to you.
Thanks, Nani.
All right, so you were recently announced as the winners of the prestigious Santam CEO Award under the innovation category. Let me start with you, Alicia. Maybe let's backtrack before we talk about the win to the nomination. How did you feel when you found out that your team had been nominated under this category?
Sure. We were literally, amazed. Many years of hard work and dedication has gone into the development of Pocket Underwriter and subsequently the creation and cultivation of this dynamic digital team. Recognition of this magnitude, means to us that we get the privilege of waking up tomorrow and really doing all of this again at an even larger scale. Innovation that will impact the livelihoods of our clients and our staffs and our brokers in such a positive way. So the meaning of, literally getting nominated was so close to our hearts. And then the win was literally even bigger. I mean, for the team, Nani, it was a huge accolade for us. For the team, it really ignited that passion that they have for our digital solutions.
Oh, wow. Sounds fantastic. We're still all celebrating. I'm sure you're aware. Simon, let's go over to you. When they announced that winner, were you like, well, of course we won? Did you expect it? What was your initial feeling? And what does this mean for the team?
Here's the actual award. Yeah, it's so heavy.
Wow. Oh wow.
But maybe it's heavy because it represents the efforts of so many people. I mean, I was obviously ecstatic when I saw that we'd been announced as the winner, but when you look at this, on the plaque on the front of the award, it's made out to the digital team, the SME team, which is great because, yes, everyone in that team works extremely hard to hit their targets, to give brokers a great user experience. But it doesn't really encapsulate all the people that were involved in this project from the beginning who might no longer be in the team. And Nani, you're actually one of those people because you worked with me briefly in those sort of very early stages when we were still, I think we had R1 million premium.
Yeah.
And Alicia, we're on what, 50 odd million
50
now?
50 million.
Sort of, three years later.
Yeah.
So I mean, we started the project so long ago, and so many people have kind of touched it in some way. Danny Honeyman was another one. Wayne Griffiths was actually involved in the first iteration of Pocket Underwriter. It was called Click at the time. So he also set the scene for us to start building. So yeah, it really is wonderful to get because it's very symbolic. I know it's a very prestigious award within the Santam Group. And it's just lovely to get that sort of outward recognition, because yes, you can give people bonuses and pay them, and that is, of course, what everybody wants. But to get something like this just means I see you. I see what you've done, and we're acknowledging it in the biggest insurance business in South Africa, if not on the African continent. So it's got huge value. I was almost in tears when the announcement was made. Unfortunately, we couldn't be there in person. Alicia and I were planning on doing that, but because of COVID restrictions, we couldn't. Yeah. But wow, what an amazing feeling. Wow. How do we top this? This is what I'm wondering.
How do you top this? Yeah. You better top it. And Alicia,
Nani, I'm glad we innovated from Click, the name Click, to Pocket Underwriter.
Right, Alicia, maybe back to you now. You work more closely with the team. So Simon, I'll come to you about how it was birthed, and I know that it was your brainchild, but Alicia, you work closely with the team. What has it meant for the morale? I'm sure it's been a massive boost, to see it culminate in this. What has this meant for your team? What does it mean, and looking forward?
Absolutely, yeah. Like I said, Nani, it really ignited the passion that they have for our digital solutions. I mean, we on a daily basis have stand-up sessions, and I promise you the energy has just accelerated leaps and bounds. It's such a huge banner of pride to wear when you receive this accolade, and I can honestly tell you now that the team is just going to grow from strength to strength, given this award and given this accolade, given the recognition that we received as a collective. Because like we've alluded to earlier, it was, really blood, sweat and tears. And really, I can't take any credit. It's honestly the hard work of the team. Literally to the point that my people are on 980 policies, on average. It just shows you the effort that they place day in and day out without a single moan. We just culminated such a richness of people who are passionate about what they do, people who drive service. So this award is really just a well-deserved win for our team.
Oh, wow, that's fantastic, Alicia. And back to you, Simon. Maybe just talk us a little bit through how this idea came to life. How did you think of it? How did you bring it to the fore, and how did it birth to the point where we are now? I'm sure it's been quite an incredible journey.
Yeah, I mean, it started in 2014. So I had a brief stint as an insurance broker here in the Western Cape where I live. And I was employed in this brokerage with the sole purpose of going out with the other account executives whenever there was a liability exposure that needed to be unpacked to come up with a solution. And I remember one of my colleagues at the time saying to me, it's so much easier when you have someone with you who focuses on these things, because as brokers, we're expected to know so much about so many different products. It's almost impossible, unless you've got an expert that you can take. And I'm sorry, I use the word expert quite loosely in referencing myself. But when you can take someone in who's kind of made a career out of looking at these things, we had a much higher closure rate of new business and much more engagement with the client. They would ask a question and get the answers immediately. And it was at that point that I thought, how wonderful would it be if, as a broker, you always had that? And of course, especially amongst our independent brokers and the national brokers outside of the global space, they don't always have an expert or a specialist that they can take with them. So if you could have something on your phone or on an iPad or your computer, and the same way you sort of interact with Google, this was only something I thought about much later in the development, but when last were you kind of at a dinner party and you didn't know something? When last were you at some function and someone said, what's the name of that actor, or what's the name of that song? It doesn't happen anymore because you've got this supercomputer in your pocket. And I thought it would be amazing if you had that as a tool. So, you were talking about the name Click not being very appealing. Well, let me tell you, before it was called Pocket Underwriter, it was called the Litigation Risk Manager, which really just rolls off the tongue. Yeah. So,
Simon, it's been called a lot of things. Sorry, I was just saying, it's been called Pocket Help, Pocket Calculator. There's a wide variety of names.
Pocket Book, Pocket Rocket, which I'm not sure is something
we could do another video on the variations of
names. Yeah.
But it was in when I joined SHA in 2014. I was sitting down with our CEO at the time and another colleague, and I said, guys, I've got this idea for this system, and I had a PowerPoint presentation. I mean, it had so many hyperlinks in it, it should have been on Ritalin. It was it was a mess of stuff, and it was just if you click here, I want this to happen. And of course, they bought into it. very grateful to them for buying into it at that early stage. And it wasn't intended to be a quoting platform. It was going to be this really slick, sort of information repository that people could just use to help them understand risks. And it was only like, I think 3-4 years later that we started doing quotes on the platform. So in 3 years, we've effectively reached the 50 million target, although the development started as far back as 2014. And then Alicia came on board and just kind of took it to the next level. She's very modest, which is a wonderful trait to have, Alicia. But I mean, to be fair, yes, the team are, they're at it all day. They're working with brokers. They're processing these quotes. They're helping brokers to understand the system. But there's so many meetings that have to happen between the various parties. Our developers at NML, constant meetings there, meetings with other people within the business. And that is a full-time job, finding out what the bugs are and why the system, didn't do what we thought it was going to do. That really has taken, a lot of focus. And Alicia, you've done it. The version of Pocket Underwriter that you see now is very different to what I had in 2014. I mean, now it's a very slick system. It's super easy to use, and it's all thanks to Alicia and her leadership in the digital team.
Take a bow, Alicia.
Thank you, Simon. Thank you.
And just to come back to you, the very kind words there, Simon, and I can definitely believe them because I'm also under her leadership as well. So Alicia, I'm sure there was a lot of pushback whenever there's something new, whenever there's a lot of pushback. People don't like change. How did you and how do you continue to deal with that in the many meetings that you have to sit in?
Thanks, Nari. Such a great question, hey. Because what I've learned is that with tech stacks and code, it ages quite quickly, right? So you can build up a lot of technical debt along the way in a very short space of time. It's not just a once-off investment, and often companies go in with that sort of notion. It's a once-off investment. I'll just invest in this and it'll run smoothly, like a well-oiled machine for another decade. Not quite true. It is an investment, but you got to go through it with the life cycles, right? And you go through it when building these platforms, which is why you need to keep at it. So there will be an ROI, and you will see it. You won't see it at year 1 or year 3, but you will see it. You realize the efficiencies in terms of what it creates, and you'll see it in the bottom line eventually. And another point for me is that you need to take your people and your clients on the same digital journey, and often that's an obstacle for certain people. And going along the way, trying to build up that that determination to keep going, keep at it, utilize it, and that sort of thing. You have to build in the people as you're innovating and moving through the obstacles of your digital journey. So definitely the technological aspect around it is a lot of obstacles in and around that, but you've got to keep pushing through, and you've got to understand. And Simon, yes, he does give me credit for that, but he behind the scenes, he's very influential in the innovative ideas that we discuss, and it really is a team effort in terms of how we overcome these obstacles. So definitely obstacles when you're going in through a digital transformation, building a digital platform solution, but there's various cogs in the wheel that will either inhibit your growth, or it will deter. So you have to weigh it up. But fortunately for us, we have a great team of developers that truly support us and support our vision. And really, I have to thank them, the NML team, for always, going with the flow, being agile with our requests, because it really is what it is today, in respect of how many people have, lend in their hands to make it a success.
Fantastic. Thanks, Alicia. Closing words from yourself, Simon. What is next? How do you top this? Because you have to.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've certainly got enough proof. We've got 4,000 policyholders that are enjoying, because remember, it's not just about the system. That's how we deliver this. But the coverage that we're providing was really only available to corporates, prior to us launching this product. So now what we've done is we've taken a whole bunch of insurance products and covers. We've made them very easily accessible, and they really do put SMEs in a position where they can fulfill their dreams. That small business owner that goes, I can't even imagine what all the risks are that I'm faced with. They've got this one-stop shop, this product that covers them for, many of the things that they would be faced with in business that they wouldn't have even been able to conceive of. So I think for us, the next step is to ramp this up, scale it up, so that more and more brokers are able to deliver these products to their clients. We're an intermediated business, so it's very important that we continue to empower our brokers. But yeah, I think the digital transformation journey has begun, and it will continue rolling now. So there'll always be some interesting things being added to Pocket Underwriter and to our digital transformation generally. So I can't wait to see what happens next. Alicia, it's all on you, really.
Yeah, Alicia, closing words.
I'm so excited.
Yeah. Closing words.
Yeah. Thanks, Nani. Just reverting back to the point when we were speaking about the pace of technological change, and Simon also touched on it. It is advancing the pace of technological change, in that how you have to innovate to be able to stay alive, to be able to penetrate the markets faster. And Simon spoke about the SME market. It's about creating those solutions for our SMEs, for our brokers, to be able to tailor efficient solutions for them. And if you think about it, Nani, actually that proverbial technological gap that once existed between our industries, between our countries and our target markets, I see a shift. And there's a lot of cross-pollination that one can apply with the use of innovative technology. So for me, definitely a lot of more work that's going to be done to make Pocket Underwriter that much simpler, that much innovative, that much streamlined for our clients. So we must keep innovating to provide solutions to our clients. That's definitely the on key on my books. And then create efficiencies for our staff, because we've seen the results through what digital transformation has done. And lastly, it enables us to drive excellency. So for our brokers. So it's definitely on the cards for the upcoming months, because we know we're that quick. Hey, Simon.
It's happening.
Well, Alicia and Simon, thank you so much for sharing that journey. I think we all saw the announcement on socials. The industry is congratulating you at large. We still continue to celebrate this victory. We look forward to what you have got in store next year. To all of our brokers who will be traveling, everybody watching, we do hope that you'll stay safe over the festive season, and we look forward to seeing you next year. Cheers.